Good evening. Welcome to the Grand. My name is Joe Ferlo. I am the director of the Grand Oshkosh, and I'm glad you could join me for another of our little sessions here at the Grand. It is hard to believe, but it has been now 9 weeks since I first started a YouTube channel and got out in front of the public and said we would be providing content during this time for you. And as I said, 9 weeks have gone by and who knows where the end is in sight, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to sit here with you just until the day you're all sitting here with me. So in the meantime, I hope you're all still safe at home or safe as you venture out now, as we start to find our way out for certain things. I think it'll be still a bit of time before we see each other in a place as crowded as the Grand, but I do hope that you're finding your way to keep yourselves and your family safe. All of that said, I think that as we move into the next phase of the Grand at Home, we're starting to settle into a rhythm of sorts. Saturday night is a live or recorded performance of some sort. Friday night is cocktail hour, where I sit down one-on-one with some of the artists who have either played the Grand in the past or are scheduled to be part of our new season. And I think we're going to replace what used to be on this day a question and answer thing, totally driven by you. Now things are starting to happen. We're starting to plan our way through what the weeks to come are going to look like here at the Grand. So I'm going to take a slightly different format. I'm going to have hopefully something new to tell you every week that we sit here. And of course, I'm still open to having questions from you. If you leave them into the comment, I will be glad to, I'll be glad to answer them as best I can. And also when you say something nice, like Kevin Peters just said, I'll be glad to post that up there too. Hi, Kevin. Glad you could be here with us. So here's what's happening now at the Grand. We've pretty much settled into the scheduling and the rescheduling and the cancellations and all of the things that are going to happen with what was happening in the spring and summer months. All of the shows that were taking place through July and August have now either been canceled or rescheduled. If you have tickets to one of those shows and you haven't yet heard where it's landing or how it's landing or what's going on, don't fret. Some of this stuff is happening literally hours ago, and our box office folks are still in the process of contacting all of the people who had tickets for these events to get them either rescheduled to a new event or scheduled to something else if they choose. With that said, we pretty well settled on the understanding and that the Grand itself, this building, won't host a performance before Labor Day. It's going to remain closed. We've got some things going on. As I look around the stage, I can see that we've been working on some lighting and we've been doing some upgrades, and you try to make the best of what of the available time you suddenly have by tweaking and working on things. As you can see, the theater behind me is in really good shape, and our custodial staff has been working hard just to make sure everything stays clean and ready. So with that in mind, we've started now to go through what I think is probably a harder part of planning for the fall, and that's setting the policies and procedures and frankly the ticketing and the seating for the events that are coming in the fall, and putting that all out so that we can get it all in some format for people to understand. We've announced a season. You can find that on the website, thegrandoshkosh.org, and both the new season and the Student Discovery Series, the AmCore Student Discovery Series, are both announced and on there. So you can start to put dates into your calendar. It's going to become pretty obvious to you as you get there that the season's kind of backloaded. I think none of us knows too strongly yet what the fall might look like. So if it looks like I've put most of our shows in December and beyond, yes, I have, and we'll find our way back from there. I think that when you come back to the Grand, the first scheduled show is the 12th of September, Saturday night. The B Twins will be here and rock the house, I hope. If you've seen any of the clips or any of the interviews, we've got an upcoming cocktail hour with the Twins. You know that they're going to deliver a high energy and a really entertaining show. It'll be a great way to start things off again. That said, my best guess right now is that what you see behind me, 550 seats, will look very different with what we call a full house. We're going to put in a socially distanced seating chart. It's a difficult and challenging financial thing for us to do because it cuts the capacity to somewhere in the neighborhood of 220, 225 people per show. The math is not really kind, but by gosh, we're going to do it. And so that chart, what that looks like in the groups that are distanced from each other along the way, will all get developed in the weeks ahead. We'll be announcing that soon. And at that point, we'll be ready to put tickets on sale and to finish moving people into the new shows. That said, it's going to create a certain fluidity in the calendar. I have selected shows that I believe can work with socially distanced seating because the artists have either helped me with their artist fees, thank you so much, or even more important, they're doing 2 shows instead of 1 so that we can still run our numbers and make things happen. But there are others that may not be able to financially make things work with a reduced seating capacity, and so it's vital that in the weeks ahead that I stay in front of you with updates as I will now every Thursday night, and we have to accept the fact that things are just going to change. Maybe they're changing daily instead of hourly now, and that is a plus. So we'll take that along the way. Hi, Joe, from Georgia. Thank you, Gary. I'm glad to see that. And thank you again, Kevin. I think it is very important that you have to understand the philosophy here at Grand. And my philosophy as the director of the Grand is that eventually, right now I'm banking on it being fall, but eventually people are going to be ready to get into theaters again. It's going to require socially distanced audiences. It's going to require policies and procedures to make people feel safe or comfortable or both. But it's going to happen, and we need to be in the forefront of that. When the community is ready to get into the social life of the performing arts again, I want to make sure we have a schedule. I want to make sure we're ready to roll, and not just online as we are right now, but with experiences. It's going to be smaller audiences. It's going to feel different in some ways, and yet it's going to feel awfully good. It's going to feel real good the first time I stand where I am right now, facing out to an audience instead of with my back to the audience. And I think that certainly there are challenges. I'm not going to pretend to say there aren't any challenges along the way. There's a ton. And some of the things you're going to want to know, I mean, as we get into this, you heard me talk about seating, right? But there are so many other things that have to be adjusted in this industry, not just at the Grand Oshkosh, but in the entire industry. We've looked at purchasing equipment, the foggers, that so that we can disinfect and clean the auditorium quickly between shows, especially if we're going to do multiple shows in a day with artists. Certainly, I think you're going to see staff and volunteers in face masks, and face masks, if not required, and I don't think there will be, but I think they're going to be recommended, and we'll have them available for those who wish to wear them as members of the audience. I'm still working on some of the key. I should say, our staff is still working on some of the key questions in terms of traffic. If you stop and think about an experience at the Grand, I can socially distance your seating. That's actually the easiest part of your Grand experience to distance. There are choke points for traffic throughout the theater in an evening when you get to the lobby and everybody tries to get into the house through the stairwell. There's obviously a choke point there, and how we're going to manage that is something we have yet to figure out. What happens up in the Grand Lounge? If you've attended shows and gotten a beverage at the Grand Lounge, it tends to be pretty crowded up there. And how will we socially distance that and still try to create service? Will we go to totally prepared cocktails in order to move the customer experience along? Will we go to prepaid? We just don't know yet. Will we go to paperless tickets? All of that involves costs, obviously, and that's part of the issue. So right now, I'm prioritizing. Obviously, we know that the disinfecting and cleaning of the theater is the paramount thing we have to work with. But anything we can do to minimize and make easier the contact between patrons and folks in the theater. Hey, Josh, good to see you. And it extends beyond the stage, the audience. It extends onto the stage. We'll have touring artists who are going to be working with local technicians, dressing rooms. Any of you who has been on that side of things know that the social distancing in the dressing room is kind of hard to do with more than 8 people. So we'll have to figure out a system there as well. I know I can tell you that artists right now, the artists that I'm working with, the artists that I know personally, are all dealing with this same idea because their ability to tour is directly related to our ability to make it a safe and welcoming environment on our end. So there is a lot that still has to happen between now and a September 12th opening, and there's a lot that has to happen between now and tickets going on sale, which I would assume our goal right now is to aim for the 4th of July. So with all that said, though, I am tremendously excited about the season itself. We've gotten we've got a couple of shows that had to move from last year into this season, which are very exciting shows. I've got some new things happening and a couple of giant things. And with that, I'm going to take a quick 30-second break, and I'm going to bring you a welcome from one of the acts we can look forward to in the new season.
Hi, we're the Four Phantoms.
I'm Brent Barrett.
I'm John Cudilla.
I'm Frank D'Ambrosio.
And I'm Kieran Sheehan.
And I'm Kaylee Voorhees.
From the entire Four Phantoms team, we wish the best to you and your families, and we hope you're all staying safe. And this December, we're returning to the Grand Oshkosh with a very special holiday show.
This show is sure to get you in the holiday spirit.
Yeah, but don't worry. You're also going to be hearing all of your Phantom favorites, too.
And we hope to see all of you there on December 17th, 18th, and 19th at the Grand Oshkosh.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, I know some of you are paying very close attention, and you noticed that Brent Barrett said 17th through 19th. The caption said 18th through 20th. The answer is we don't know yet. 18 through 20 are the actual scheduled dates. We are likely, again, depending on the social distancing requirements of the auditorium, we may need to add performances in order to bring in a critical mass of ticket holders to make that event work. So much is up in the air right now. We're just going to float along with it. We're going to keep our spirits high and make things work. And bless you, Kevin. I appreciate that so much. I can't even say. We have been lucky here at the Grand in a couple of ways. Obviously, we're closed, and that's terrible luck. We lost 22 shows. We lost our fundraiser. We lost a lot of things along the way, but what we did get was payroll protection, and as a result, I've been able to keep our team together, working on content, working on things for you, working on these policies and these procedures, so that it's not a one-man show at all. It really takes our team of 8 who are working very hard, and then this also allowed us to bring back some of our part-timers, our technical folks who are taking their expertise and helping to fix and repair and work on things here behind the scenes. Custodial staff obviously doing their work here as well. And that's all really critical for us, obviously timing-wise, because as luck would have it, not only did we lose our fundraiser in the spring, but the spring is the time when so much of our fundraising normally happens. The annual fund drive happens. The solicitation of sponsors for the next year all happens in these months that are going on right now. And I can't lie to you, it's awkward. It's awkward to go out and look for support, continued support, or especially new support right now, because of all the obvious needs and challenges that people are going through, people and businesses and everything are going through right now. At the same time, I can't not do it. You and those donors and those audience members and those artists expect us to be ready come fall, and the only way to do that is to keep our schedule moving, and that includes the fundraising schedule. So. We tiptoe, we're as delicate and certainly respectful. I'm trying to do my best to support the businesses and the causes in town as well, just like the rest of you are. But we need to make sure that we're getting this to that. And look at this. See, now this is the kind of all I saw, Frankie, was how much hate mail are you getting? And I thought, out of the corner of my eye, and I thought, oh my gosh. Frankie, you say that, but let's recall that when I did my opening weekend and I had to get online fast with artists to put on a show, who did I call? So, and we're about ready for another cycle back anyway, as time goes. So, stay tuned, right? And I should point out, if you are a locally based artist or an artist who is not locally based, who is interested in putting some content out there for an audience, certainly, I'm happy to oblige. Again, we've got the Friday night cocktail interviews. We've got the Saturday night shows, and we are always looking for content. I know, my goal is to keep the online presence going until I don't need an online presence anymore, and then we'll revise it along the way. So at the very least, I've got a summer where I'm going to want to fill some content. So with that said, we had a lot of fun here this weekend. We're actually going to reminisce a little because tomorrow night I'm going to bring in for cocktails Lisa Rock. Lisa, it was about a year ago that Lisa and her Carpenters tribute, Close to You, we're here in Oshkosh, sold out the Grand, and it was a fabulous show. So I thought she would be certainly a friend to the Grand, and indeed she is to the Grand and to me. And so I asked her if she was interested in doing this and in providing content. And as luck would have it, not only do we have the great good fortune of visiting with Lisa tomorrow at 7:30, but on Saturday we have a full-length performance of Close to You that was recorded, and so instead of an hour from a basement, and God, I'm not disparaging that because have we needed that help from people, and boy, I'll tell you, some people have some great studios in their basements, but this is going to be an entire hour and a half, 2-hour show on Saturday night. Pop the popcorn and be ready because we're going to have a good time. So it's kind of Carpenters Week here at the. And it's ironic, of course, that, the show's called Close to You. Yeah, social distancing joke. But we're going to look forward to that. So I hope that you'll join us. And again, we've had everything from local artists to national touring artists to student recitals happening as part of the Grand at Home. I want to keep that content going for whomever wants to tune in, whenever they want to tune in. So that's a big part of what's going on here. And we'll be, there we go. All right. Good. Kevin, make sure you have my cell. I'm not in the office answering phones. So shoot me an email. Let me get you a contact number. Which leads me obviously to another kind of thing that's going on right now. And there's no purpose with the box office closed and the theater closed and the office staff working remote and doing such a fine job of it to change that right now and to open up any unnecessary risk to the people who we need so badly to help us. So the staff is continuing to work at home. The office at 222 Pearl is closed. People are going, averages 1 or 2 of us a day will go in and check in and on things or need something from the office, but office hours are not happening. People are, however, working very hard from home. We have become, I don't know if any of us is a Zoom expert, but we are certainly Zoom regulars. The trial and error has gotten me through the streaming side of things now. We are hard at work for you to make sure that we've got we are ready to roll come the fall and come July 4th-ish when we put these tickets on sale. Again, you can find all of the events right now on the website. They are announced. The Grand shows are announced. The Discovery Series shows are announced, and the schedule as we have it is there, and that's changing almost daily. There are updates, and I think there are some other additions that are going to happen along the way. So by all means, continue to check that out. Again, if you're a teacher, or if you've got kids who have come to Discovery Series shows at the Grand, do know that we've announced the season. Amcor has climbed on board to help us that way, and but we don't know what it's going to look like yet. I think the first of those shows is in November. I did again start later. But normally a Discovery Series show is going to have 500 students and chaperones in this place. And we're going to have to socially distance if, in fact, students are even going out for field trips in the fall. So we're going to play that by ear. That said, we're grateful to the Amcor Foundation, grateful to all of the sponsors. If you watched the Phantoms promo that I played earlier, you'll see old and returning and new sponsors signed up to continue to do the work with us. I can't tell you how grateful I am on behalf of everybody here at Grand and all of the audiences to know that you're able to stay with us at times like this, because truthfully, it's, let's since everybody's taking school at home anyway, let's take a little math lesson. If I have 500 seats and a sponsor, ticket prices are X to break even. I don't know if that's algebra or trigonometry or what it is with the X, but it's been too long. But if I suddenly have 250 seats or 220 seats, the costs of the show are the same. The ticket prices either go there, which is not acceptable to me at all, or we need those sponsors on board. And so the sponsorships, while they've always been very important, they're probably more important now than they ever were. So when you see a sponsor recognized for a grand show, if you know them, thank them. It's really important, and we're very grateful to people who are seeing the need for the arts as part of the return to whatever normal is, or the healing, or whatever you want to call it, the celebration that's going to happen when we're ready to go again. So with all of that said, what I guess I can leave you with here as we get to the bottom of the hour, unless you flood me with questions, is that it's a very fluid process. Things are changing rapidly, and adjustments are being made left and right. It's very much like standing in a strong current or trying to keep your balance in an earthquake, or whatever kind of analogy you want to make. But you can be assured that we're at the Grand, we're committed to riding this out with you, to being to thinking ahead to what's going to come ahead for us, and to doing everything we can to make sure that when the time comes that we all get together again, we've made whatever adjustments we've had to make to the physical plant, whatever adjustments we've had to make to our procedures, to our policies, to our backstage, to our whatever it is. We're going to get it done, because we believe that what happens between our audiences and our artists at the Grand is absolutely an essential thing to our community. So you can count on that happening. Hey, there we go. Yes. Thank you, Kylie. Kylie, I think, is still the president of Oshkosh Community Players, and I was very excited. They too had a difficult decision to make, and they made a good one. In my opinion, you can tell that I thought it was a good one, because we did basically the same thing. You won't see a fall OCP show. You won't see a midwinter OCP show. It's all going into the spring, where there's time to figure out how to do this. And I can tell you, as a recovered actor and as a theater director, staging a show is daunting right now. How do you socially distance your actors? How do you make that work? There is a ton of challenge to it, and my hat's off to the artists out there, whether it's community players or whether it's the symphony. We're all going to figure out how to do it. Just like the teachers, they had minutes to say you're going to teach remote, and yet what a great job they've done doing that. We're going to do that too in the arts. Artists are getting more and more sophisticated in providing content to get us through streaming. We may look into, no promises, no guarantees. It's a completely new, different territory for me, but we may look into putting a streaming component into our series, if we can do that as a way to keep all the other things equal along the way and to deal with stuff. It won't happen for every show, but if we can do it, and it's something we'll look into too. There's no crazy idea right now. They're all important ideas. So with that said, feel free to give me yours. You can always find me here on Thursday nights, and you can find me through email at the Grand's website. Meanwhile, we'll stay at it. I'm hitting the Zoom club circuit. The nice thing is I don't even need a social club organization anymore. If you want to put 10 people on a Zoom call with me, just let me know. We'll sit down. We'll talk about the arts. We'll talk about all the stuff I'm reading nationally and internationally, how it's affecting us along the way. And you can tell me what it is it's going to take to make sure you are comfortable and ready and excited to get with us back here. So until the time you can be here with us, I'll be here with you. And in the meantime, you stay safe You stay healthy. You take care of yourself and your family and your loved ones. We have, again, Cocktail Hour with Lisa Rock tomorrow. We have the Close to You show coming up. The following Cocktail Hour, the B Twins are here. Eventually, you'll see James Garner from the Johnny Cash tribute. We've got some great things in store for you in the weeks to come. So please, don't be a stranger. Find us online where the show must go online. And we will see you soon. Till then, I'm Joe Ferlo. This is The Grand. Thanks for being with us tonight.